Good evening, good morning. Today we're here with Colin, one of our clients in BBA program. Colin has been in e-commerce for a year now?
Yeah.
A year, and recently he got some great traction with one of the products, and he scaled his store to $36,000 in 3 days. Is that accurate?
Yeah, about 38K total.
Very nice, my man. So yeah, great to have you, and looking forward to learn from you. If you guys have any questions for Colin, please drop them here in the chat. And Colin, if you can break down like your story, how you got into e-commerce, and how the whole journey started for you.
Yeah, so I started around last year, end of February. I kind of always knew about drop shipping back in like 2018, 2019. I feel like that's when I started seeing it a lot, and I never really got into it. I kind of thought it was way too complicated. I was around maybe like 16, 17 at the time, didn't have that much money to just throw away. So I was just like, I'll find other methods to do, like Wi-Fi money basically. Got into creating crypto, stocks trading, just, NFTs when they blew up, just, basically trying everything to just like escape the 9 to 5 reality basically. But then everything didn't work out clearly. But then, I kind of took a step back for like a summer, basically worked the whole summer. Then just one night I started scrolling and I started seeing like drop shipping, just videos again from just different people online. I was like, okay, this kind of starts to make a little bit more sense now. I have a more bit of an understanding of business. And I was just like, yeah, the way they were describing it was just, this is very easy to set up, and basically anybody can do it. And so, yeah, I got in basically February, then around March is when I started to run like some stores. Then actually, tomorrow, the 24th, is the first day I got my first sale a year ago.
Nice.
So it's kind of a cool, cycle that, came back to.
And so for you, like you've been studying, like you're still studying like in the college, or like what?
Yeah, so I'm 22 now. I went to college for 2 months, then I dropped out. I was like, this is not for me. I'm not doing it. Um, and that's really when I was like, okay, if I'm not going to go to college and get a degree, then I have to learn to make my own money somehow.
And so like what did you study for in the college?
I was always just I always loved business. Um, there's this business all around in my family, so I just kind of gravitated towards it, and I always felt like it just interesting, and I always wanted to be like a CEO or like an entrepreneur of like my own company.
So you was like so you basically studying business in college?
Yeah, that was going to be my major. Like in high school, I took any business class I could. But yeah, I got to college, then I tried it out for like 2 months, and it wasn't for me.
So people asking this people asking this call is live. Is this call live?
Yeah. Yeah.
People always asking this, like, is this live? And
Mhm.
so cool. So like for you, like what's kind of the motivation to get into business instead of like typical like 9 to 5 paths? Like what drives you?
I would say the freedom it gives, I want to get to a point that, I can retire my parents, I can, help my sister, help my brother, and that's kind of the main thing for me, just that freedom that comes with it.
Hmm. And
Mhm.
so when so you got into all of these like it's fascinating, right? Because a lot of people trying like to make money online, right? Like it's like pretty much like everyone at some point tries it, and most people just like give up like too early, right? They try,
Yeah.
it doesn't work, and they just give up. So what was the driver for you? Like for example, you tried you tried like different opportunities, but you kept going, you kept like trying different things. Like what was that driver for you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely fall into that category where I've tried other stuff like once or twice, didn't work out. Said, basically it's a scam, it doesn't work out. Everybody's lying to you that makes money off of it. And I think the main thing was kind of ecom and drop shipping. For me, I kind of, I was treating it as like a last resort, kind of like I have to make it work, you know. And like and for me it was just like, yeah, it might take me a year, it might take me 2 or 3, but if I don't give up, then it's just I can't give up basically because it's going to happen eventually. And like, and if I do give up, then it's never going to happen at all. So that was kind of like the main driver for me. Like always, like you're one product away from changing your whole life. And I think that's something that, I kept reminding myself is this next test I put up, this next product I'm running could be the one that, changes everything.
And so when so like officially you started, you mentioned you started like 1 year ago, pretty much, like you got your first sale. So what happened after that? Like after you got the first sale, like what happened?
Oh man, when I got that first sale, it was like I think the best experience I ever had. I was like jumping up in my room and I think the main thing for me, it's like it's possible. Like these people online like aren't lying. You can make a store, run a product, and someone would buy your product. And I think just getting that sale gave me all that momentum to be like, okay, it is possible.
Did you get momentum from it, like, or you just got like few sales and then it died?
I got one sale, that was it. But I think that's all I needed, man.
Okay, and so like so after that, like what happened? Like did you keep trying? Like did you kind of like abandon it for a while? Like what happened?
Yeah, so I ran that one product, got one sale. I think I was stuck on it for like a week, then just shut it all down. Then you know, I just kept on doing product tests, just test after test after test, and that was basically my whole for about this whole last year. Basically, that's all I've been doing is just testing new products.
And then when did you join our community, Brand Builders Academy?
Yeah, I joined BBA like basically the last day of November. So yeah, November 2024.
What motivated you? Like did you go through like some other courses before, some other like mentorships? Like what motivated you to like get help and get some help to try to figure it out?
Yeah, so I joined some Discords, kind of I would say they're like beginner friendly ones. And I would say for like, if you're just starting off, it's very good to just get the basic knowledge. But I was getting to a point where it's I was going around other communities and I'm like they're all basically saying the same thing. And it's like I don't really need all this info again. I need more. I need a deeper understanding of how the game really works. And that's when I saw one of Mark's videos and I was like this guy's a genius. I'm like he's talking about stuff I've never heard of before. And like I'm a very big like visual learner, and he was like basically painting the whole picture and what to do. And for me it clicked and just made so much more sense.
And so so you started watching videos and then you decided to join BBA?
Yeah, basically I wanted to, Mark would always say, this is only like a glimpse of what like I teach, or the knowledge we give inside this community. And I was at a point where it's, I want to grow, so I have to invest in myself. And I kind of, I saw BBA as like an investment to, use that knowledge and turn that like what I paid to even more money.
Was it like a difficult decision for you? Like, was it like, were you skeptical, about investing in yourself?
I would say like a tiny bit skeptical, but it was actually I was on the call with the guy who got me in. I think his name's Daniel. I forgot it. I
Uh-huh.
forgot his name, but he was like, sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith in life. And I think, when he said that, that was really like the selling point, you know, because I was like, I could either turn down this opportunity and keep testing products and failing them, or I could invest in something, learn a bunch of info, then I can be, waste.
For sure. So after you joined in November, like what changed like in your approach? Like since you joined BBA, kind of like what mindset shift did you have in terms of like testing products or making e-commerce work?
Man, I would say I would look at I basically looked at drop shipping a whole different way after going through a lot of the courses. Like, I was just taught to, you find a product, you rip their ads, that's basically all you do. Well, inside BBA, it showed that how, you can script write and you can write your own scripts and you can get your own footage, and you can actually create something instead of just, completely ripping it off something out like someone else. And the whole like how to create like a store and how to properly build it out and what to have, and kind of like customer service, what to deal with. And it made the whole experience feel more like full body. Like there's actually like something there that you can create.
And so was your family like, did they support you like in pursuing like e-commerce?
I would say yeah. I mean when I dropped out of college, they basically said to me like you can stay at her house, but you're on your own basically. So my dad's like an entrepreneur. My grandpa was, my uncle is, so it's kind of in the family, and someone had to carry on the tradition. So you know, and I guess that's just something I had to do.
And so as you started like, so you started getting traction recently, right?
Yeah, I definitely within the past like 2 months.
So what was
It's been
so what do you think made a difference like in the last few months compared to what you were doing before?
I would just say the sheer volume I was testing. Um, I think that I would only maybe test a product every week or 2 weeks. Then one of my friends was like, "You got to kick it up a notch." Then I was like, "All right, like I'm gonna give it my all for just 1 week." And I think that 1 week I tested like 3 or 4 products in that 1 week, and I made everything so simple for me. Like I would have like templates for stores, I would have templates for ads. So, I could get a whole store up, whole like script writing ads, everything in like 5 hours. So
Wow.
it just made everything just so much simpler.
Wow, this is fascinating. So what like are you using AI in any steps of that process?
Oh yeah. I use Chat GPT every day. It's probably my best friend at this point.
So what do you use it for?
Oh, it's everything. Just script writing, products, getting a custom avatar, learning deeper into like a product I'm gonna sell. It's literally anything I use it for, and I love it.
Nice. And so do you use like the image ads or video ads?
I do mostly video. I've done some. Actually, this last product I just did was basically off image ads, which was crazy because I never usually do image ads. But yeah, it's mostly video.
So for you, like was that like a new skill set that you had to acquire, like pretty much like editing videos, like putting videos together?
Yeah, I would say so. And I also think that's another cool thing about like drop shipping I didn't really realize. It's how much different skills you actually learn when doing the whole process. And like, when I started out, I didn't know how to use an editing software or how to, write ads at all. And that's definitely, a skill I had to learn, and I was terrible at it at the start. And I don't think I'm, that good at it now, but the more you do it, like you just get better and better at it each time.
So you basically learned the copywriting, video editing, probably some design as well, like to make the stores. Like how do you see it from the perspective of, because I think, most people, like when they look at the business, they're looking at it like, okay, like business needs to make money like ASAP. But like you're looking at it more long term, where
Yeah.
it's not just like the money that you make, but also the skills that you acquire long term.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You can, all these skills you learn, you can keep forever, and you keep on expanding on them, and you can use them in so many different aspects of business that it's really like an all in one kind of learning center, I would say. 'Cause,
What
yeah, you just learn so much.
what's your mindset when it comes to like choosing products to sell?
Um, I I really like, products that like solve a problem, and you can argue that like, okay, like all products solve some form of problem, but like I really like just like if how do I put it? Like let's just take supplements for an example. You're overweight, you hate the way your body looks, you want to start losing weight, then I want to provide you something that's going to make you feel better and look better. It
Hmm.
kind of like, you're selling like a service in a way, but it's just through like a product.
So you basically selling a transformation.
Yeah, or yeah, basically.
Awesome. So on learning the copywriting skill, like what was the most helpful for you? Like did you learn like from books? Did you learn just from practicing? Did you learn from Chad GPT? What was the most helpful for you in that learning experience?
Um, I would say like trial and error. I think that was a big thing for me, and you know, a lot of I when I first started, man, I would send my coach everything, and I'd be like, I'll do something, I'll send it to him, I'll be like, how does this look? He'd be like, it's good, but then you can add this, this, and this. You can change this a tiny bit. And I'll be like, okay, and I would do it all fast. And I would resend it back to him. So I think a big thing for me was, always wanting feedback, like accepting like criticism. Like if it's bad, tell me it's bad, so I can fix it. But I think yeah, my coach really helped me like dial in like what a good ad is and how to create it. And you know, especially man, Mark's weekly call on Monday, dude, I think that's one of the best things ever. You learn so much, and I think him really helped me learn like what a good ad is, what good copywriting is, and just yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome, man. So with because it's as you go on this journey, it's like you've started to get some awesome traction. It's like the skill sets that you acquire, they, number one, I mean, obviously they will serve you like for the rest of your life, but also
Mhm.
it's the constant like evolution and growth, right? That
Yeah,
in that process, because as you start like acquiring skills, then you realize that, oh wow, I didn't know much, right? Like, and so
yeah,
like even like more opportunities for learning open up, which I think is, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes business exciting, that's what makes life exciting. um, for the conversion rate optimization, like what were your biggest kind of like learnings, or maybe like even mistakes that you have done?
um, like ads wise, story
Yeah,
wise,
like store wise, yeah, on the store.
wise. I think social proof is massive on stores. And I've noticed, especially, when I buy, you go on Amazon, you see this one's bestseller, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to look at another competitor. I'm just going to pick this one because it has the best ratings. And, I've seen people that are like, oh, reviews don't matter. Like, you don't need reviews on your stores. And, I would fully disagree with that. I think social proof is one of the best things you can do. Brands live off social proof, just their product getting passed around. I think a big one of that was AG1. you know they were sponsoring everything, you saw them everywhere, and it's just like you didn't even know what it is. You just see this green beverage and like,
Colin, can you hear me? Oh, I think we lost Colin. Hello, Colin. Sorry, guys, connection has dropped. All right, let's see if Colin can rejoin us. All right, I think he's rejoining us. Sorry about that, internet. Oh, Colin, sorry, lost you for a second here. Can you hear me?
yeah, we back?
Yeah. I think there's like two of you here now. Okay, perfect. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so we had a question here from a resource provided to you. How is the best way to make research for new products? Colin, can you hear me? Colin, you back?
All right. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries, moment. So, so we had a question here. How is the best way to make research for new products? Like, what's your product research method, basically?
I think there's so many options. Facebook ad library is one of them. TikTok, just even Amazon, you can find some good stuff on there. And, I think any day-to-day product you see just walking, you use in your life, I think that's a big one no one talks about. But there's so many ways. But I would say definitely, just Facebook ad library and, or if you use a spy tool like Calidata or like PP ads, that's the best way.
So like this, just the Facebook ad library?
Yeah, I think that's a very good start too. There's like tons of brands that you can type in one word and you can just see so many different brands running different products.
Awesome, man. So for you, like any specific criteria that you're looking at, like when searching for products to sell?
Yeah, like I said, I like to see like I like the product, solves a problem. I like how Mark says like they're validated. So they're doing maybe around 300 to 500K revenue a month. And just like, and honestly, if I like it, I really won't run a product if I don't really like it that much. But yeah, just make sure it's validated, it's selling, there's content behind it, and that's basically all it.
And so once you find the product, like what's your process? You just quickly build a website and you just like launch ads like ASAP?
Yeah, in the simple ways. So first thing I'll do if I find the product, I actually see if it's going to Amazon. Then I'll go if it's on Amazon, then I'll go to the reviews, and I actually have a um like a swipe like a swiper basically, and it will download every single review about that product. That I'll make like a giant spreadsheet. Then I'll get my prompt for Chat GPT. Then I'll attach the file, and I'll just be like, give me the custom avatar for like
Mm,
this product. And I'll feed it all this information, and it just spits it out. Then it would kind of give me like two or three custom avatars, and I kind of pick which one I like the most, and I think it'll work the best. And then I'll just start building my store all around that one avatar.
interesting. Very cool. And so for building the store, like what do you use? Like standard Shopify, like landing pages, like
Yeah, I use Shrine theme. That's I I like it the most. It's the easiest to use, and I have a template that I have. So if I have a new product, I can basically just switch out the product and info, and that's it.
wow. You mentioned like you can launch like a new store, like new product within like few hours.
Hmm.
Wow. That is awesome. That is
Yeah, I mean it's probably like not the best work, but I can make it happen. So usually if it's like super late and I just want to get a product up tomorrow, I'll do it all fast. But I'll come as like the ads are running, the pixels starting to get spent on it. Then I'll kind of go back and like refinalize stuff I don't like or change a few things. But
man, I
yeah.
think that's one of the most important like qualities in general. Like if you just move fast, even though it's like not perfect from the first try, you still learn a lot throughout that process. And the faster you can get to the
Oh yeah.
market, the better. Because I know some people would take like months just to build their like Shopify store. They want everything to be perfect. And then they launch the store and it doesn't
Hmm.
convert or the product doesn't sell, right? And they just like wasted all of their
Yeah.
time instead of just getting something to the market like quicker.
Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely something I learned. My first product, I learned that. Just I think I spent like a month on the whole thing, and after I was just like, geez, like this is what it is every single time. And I was just way attached to like my first product. I wanted my store to be absolutely perfect. I spent like 4 days making my store just by itself. And I think one thing I learned is, not everything's perfect, and not everything has to be perfect like off the start. Just if you have to come back and fix some things, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. But it doesn't have to be picture perfect 10 out of 10.
For
When you
sure.
do it.
Yeah. And, even if you look at, like, let's say big companies, like, let's say Apple, like, you have an iPhone. Yeah. So
Oh yeah,
iPhone, right? Like,
right
so
here.
on iPhone, when you have the iOS like update, it's usually like some bug fixing from the previous version. So when they launch it, it's not perfect, right? It still has some bugs. It still has some
Hmm.
like issues and some things that are not working properly. And then they fix it with the next iteration, then the next iteration, next iteration. So in business, like, and I think that's like one of the reasons like why many entrepreneurs like overthink it, because they want everything to be perfect, and they spend too much time trying to make it perfect. And then but then they don't know what's actually working, whether like in the first place the product or the store is structured properly, so they don't have that data, but they're wasting too much time kind of like preparing everything. And I love your approach
Hmm.
when just getting stuff to the market faster, learning from it, like making adjustments, and then making the next version better.
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah. I was definitely early on overcomplicating everything that I didn't need to, and now now I'm just so kind of relaxed that you just keep it simple, and I think that's the
Awesome,
main
my
thing.
man. So when it comes to ads, like what have been your biggest like learnings, like how to make ads that convert?
Um, I would say, man, just pump out as many ads to test as many ads as you can. I would always try to make like 3 to 5 like insanely good ones, and I'd spend all this time on it. you know I'd, I think it used to take me like 2 days to make 5 ads because I just wanted to be perfect, and I would run them and they would do terribly, and I'm just like, what? Like, why is it not converting? Why is it not doing well? And I just learned, okay, those ads didn't work. Let's try something new. Let's do a new angle on it. Let's sell in a different way, different demographic, and always testing just new stuff is very big.
So for you, like you mentioned, you editing the videos yourself. So what do you use for editing your videos?
CapCut. Just CapCut.
On your phone?
Yeah. I have it on my computer.
Okay.
So it's
how long your ads usually?
It depends on who I'm selling it to, but I would say around ideally 30 to 40 seconds.
Wow. Pretty short ones.
Yeah.
Have you tried like longer, like VSL kind of format?
I kind of did like a mini VSL. It was kind of like 2-ish minutes long. But yeah, I haven't really gone deep in like VSLs yet. I don't think I'm at that point in like I think that's if I start making an actual brand, I would start doing more like VSLs for that, definitely.
And you selling your products in what market?
Mostly US, but if not the top 5.
Awesome. So for you, like, okay, so product research using a lot of AI, then with video editing, you're just using like very simple tools like CapCut. Any other tools that you have found like useful in this process?
I have a bunch of like extensions on my computer that's just for even like just simple tasks. I have a one for like swiping videos. I have a one for downloading pictures. I have a one to, if I like a color on a store, I can drop down and ask like, what color is this? And I can take it. Trying to think, what else do I have? I have like ones for like margin, so I can easily calculate something. And I think the big thing is just finding shortcuts for yourself. Like just, something that used to take me 15 minutes to do, I can do it in like 30 seconds. And I think that's what kind of allows me to move kind of fast is, I leverage a lot of tools to my advantage. And I think that was, something actually when I was like trading stocks, that was a big thing that people would always say. Like you have to use like leverage, to help you out. And I kind of moved that into eCom, and that's why I'm very big into AI. I have all these extensions. I have all these pre-made templates. I've literally everything that I need, just like waiting for me to use it. And when I need to use it, it's right there. I can use it fast. And it's wonderful.
What do you think about sometimes people say like e-commerce is saturated or drop shipping doesn't work anymore? Like, what would you say to those people?
Man, I would say I remember hearing in 2018 that drop shipping was dead, and I wasn't even in drop shipping. I think it's a cycle with every business model. Every business model is like, oh, it's too saturated, it's gonna die out. But then it's just, the market shifts. And I think that's just how it adapts. The market shifts and adapts, and that's really all it. And if you don't adapt or shift to it, you're just going to fall behind.
And so knowing what you know now, like if you could go back in time, let's say 1 year ago, and tell yourself one thing about e-commerce, like getting into it, like what would you say?
Oh, one thing. Use AI earlier. Like I just started using AI a lot within the past 2 months. And I'm just like, why am I now just starting to use it? I used to, it took me so long to do custom research. And it's truly amazing how fast it can help, like it works and it can help you. So I would say just leverage tools to help you. And that's the main thing that I really like. That I'd probably say to myself.
Using tools. So with Chad GPT, like, how did you learn like how to prompt? How did you learn like all of those skills, how to use it properly?
I'm just watching videos, man, I would watch a ton of videos of even Mark, for an example, just making just like custom avatar, or you want to script write, and just seeing how they do it, seeing how they would like prompt it, and kind of just mirror that.
Mm.
Like, oh, I would spend probably like an hour, if not 2 hours a day, just like watching videos on just people using AI or Chat GPT that help them solve a problem, and I would just take that and use it for myself.
And that's awesome. I think like we are like, people just don't understand how much opportunity there is, like to learn skills. And like, so AI as a
Mhm.
tool, it's extremely powerful, but it's only as good as your skill of using it. But like you said, the amount of
Yeah.
information available, like in order like to use it properly, there's many tutorials, there's many people that you can just learn from. Obviously, after that, like after you learn, you have to
Mhm.
experiment, and like, some things will work, some things will not work. But the amount of information available, like if you compare it even like 5 years ago, like, or like let's say 8 years ago when I was starting out, like there were not none of these tools, so everything had to be done like
Yeah.
manually. And so now, like the amount of different ways that you can just get advantage and move very fast is just incredible, especially with AI.
Yeah. It's really it's amazing. It is, because I remember seeing in like 2020, 2021 about like Chat GPT, and I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this tool? And I used it maybe once, and I'm like, okay, I'm not
Yeah,
touching it again.
and it's got
But
so
yeah,
much
wow.
better since then, right? Like it just constantly gets better. um,
Hmm.
and I think it's just mandatory for everyone, no matter like what they do. Like it's just use AI in some of the processes, some of the workflows on a day-to-day basis.
Hmm.
um, so so with BBA, like what were the biggest things you think that kind of like just shifted your mind, or biggest like mental shifts that happened inside of the program?
Um, like tie a lot of it back to just making ads and creatives. I think that's one point where inside BBA, just man, there was just so much info about it. Always like getting feedback from other people, and journeying. There's so many calls that happen each week that you can get so much info and just value out of it. And I kind of said earlier, it feels like dropshipping's more like full body. It just feels better, and there's actually something there.
Hmm. Something more like tangible, not just kind of,
Yeah,
not
instead of
just.
just like, yeah, like ripping the product and putting it up. You're actually like creating something. I think there's a cool aspect of that.
Hmm. I love that. Who do you work with inside of BBA?
Uh, my coach was Robin, and I switched from him because he was in the UK and I was in the US, so the time difference was a little not the best sometimes. But yeah, I switched a couple of weeks ago, and I am using. I've been talking a while. Um, let's see, Sui. I think that's his name.
Oh, Sui. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like him. He's a cool dude.
Nice. And you guys are oh yeah, he's in US, right? He's in
Yeah, so it's a lot better for me.
for sure, moment. So with like with the growth that you had in business, kind of the breakthroughs that you had, like on the personal side, like what do you think changed about like your mindset in general, like how you view business, how you view um kind of the entrepreneurship, like any
Mhm.
big breakthroughs on that side?
Yeah, I'll definitely say that I've I've kind of proven to myself that it works. It's more than like when you see people online, you see them flexing their dashboard, everything. Yeah, from the outside looking in, you're thinking, oh, this is a scam. I know how
Right.
people can't make it, and I feel like that was kind of me in a way, to be like, is it really possible? But now, man, I think I could basically like I could do any business model now, and it's a matter of just like, you know, never giving up and just always trying and like trying, and eventually, you know, it's gonna work. So especially, I would say the mindset, like the mind shift I have now is, you know, if I want to start like a brand or a company, like I kind of know it's gonna work out. It might take me a while, but eventually I know it can work out and I know it's possible.
So I mean, it just gave you like a lot more confidence.
Yeah, a little more light at the end of the tunnel. It's a little bit brighter.
That's awesome, man. So if you could give like one piece of advice to people that, you know, people that are watching that, I don't know, maybe they're working like 9 to 5, maybe they just went like typical paths, or they tried e-commerce in the past, didn't work for them, like it didn't for you at the beginning. Like, what would you say to those people?
Man, I would say get back into it and just keep on trying. I remember it was around May, and that's when my summer job started. And I actually kind of stopped doing ecom for a few months. And I was working maybe 50, 60 hours a week in just outside, just warm, you know, just warm heat. And I was like, you know, I would dread it and be like, but I'm gonna use like all this money I make and I'm gonna put it back like in the drop shipping and I'm gonna make it work. So that's even when I was working at like 9 to 5, you know, that those long hours, I'm like, it's all gonna be worth it in the end. And
Mm.
I think, you know, now I wouldn't say I'm fully there yet, but you know, I'm seeing the potential of like what can be and what, you know, I can do. So yeah, I mean, I would say just, you know, you're one product away from completely changing your life and how your perspective on everything.
Just keep at it.
Yeah, yeah, basically. Because think about it, if you quit, then it's never going to happen. So might as well just keep on trying.
Yeah. How did you have like any like criticism like from people like around you, like, oh, it's like it doesn't work, it's saturated, like some people kind of like naysayers, or some people, you know, kind of like trying to talk you out of it?
Um, not really. Honestly, I even now I don't really tell people that much
Uh-huh.
about it. And even when I did, they would just be so confused. They're like, "So you find a product and you're selling it and it's getting shipped from another country?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." And then they're just like, "How is that possible?" I'm just like, "Because it is." And I try to break it down more and they just get more and more confused. And so I mean, I've kind of just nowadays I just tell people like I media buy. I just run ads. I because they're like, "Oh, that's cool," and I'm like, "Yeah." Just and they just stop. They just stop talk. They just stop asking questions, which is better for me because I don't want to talk about it.
You're just that's fine. It's and it's, you know, it's like, so did you still like in college, are you still in touch with some people from your college, like kind of like young people of your age?
Oh yeah, I mean, I have tons of friends that I still talk
Uh-huh.
to. They're in college.
And so when you share it with them, right? So they're also young, you know, they're familiar with technology. When you share it with them, they don't understand.
Um, I would say, you know, I've told a few of them that are they're like business majors, and they can understand the process more. Um, and they're I mean, that I've really never got like criticism. Like they've just been like, you know, it's your own path. You know, you you
Nice.
do what you want, and you know, there's still, you know, some of my best friends are still in college, and you know, they also like growing up with me. They kind of always knew I had this mindset, and you know, it's kind of just it all like added up to them.
Hmm. Did any of them like ask for help? Like, hey, can you show me how you do it?
Um, a few of them, and I'm just like, hey, like, I'm not going to hold your hand during this process because I don't want to do everything for you because then you're not going to learn at all. And I was
Right.
like, you know, I'll give you, you know, I'll give you some videos to watch. I'll give you some tutorials. I'll give you some tools. But I mean, I'm not gonna do everything for you. And I mean, there's definitely when I was first starting off and I was telling people about it, you know, I try to get like a few friends into it, and you know, I sent them everything. Then I'll check in like 2 weeks later, and you know, they're just like, "Oh man, no, I'm busy. I can't do it. I have stuff going on." And I'm just like, "Okay." I just stop from there. But I mean, if I have a if a friend's like truly like serious about it and like actually wants to do it, then yeah, I'll help them out. But they have to put in the effort as much as I put in the effort.
Right, man. That's I asked this question just like, yeah, like
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I've tried to get my friends into it. I'm at the point where I'm not going to do it. If they want to learn about it, they can come to me. But I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to keep on telling them about it.
my man. So what's your next goal with this business?
Next goal. I would say I definitely I hit the bricks hard on this product. Um, the whole uncertainty with all like the tariffs and everything, I was just like, I'm gonna stop running this product in the US. I'm gonna make sure, my supply chain is down, all my payouts are good, just making sure everything's like kind of set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I'm probably gonna within the next week or so, I might try this product in other countries and see if it works.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's other countries, and I've had these conversations, having this conversation every weekend. It's fascinating. Like people make it like very successful in other countries, like in Germany, Netherlands, Sweden, like different countries around the world, like even South America. We have some
Mhm.
people in the community, and so I think once you have the skill set, once you understand it, it's applicable in so many different ways.
Oh
So,
yeah,
so even if something happens, like you said, like with tariffs, I think they'll find it. They'll find some
yeah,
solution.
they're fine. I
Yeah.
do. I agree.
So even if something happens on that side, I mean, you still have like majority of the world like that you can
Mhm.
sell your products to, like Australia, UK, Canada, like just those countries alone, and then all the other countries. So, but the most important thing is just like skill set, understanding how to sell products, understanding creatives, understanding website and conversion rate optimization. And once you have those skill sets, like the opportunities are just endless.
Yeah, that's definitely something I learned. I was like, wait, you can sell stuff outside of the US, and
Yeah.
then it's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, I've seen multiple people just scale up brands just solely in the UK, and they're doing like 500K months, and they're not even touching the US yet, and that's something I learned too. There's other markets you can target.
For sure, my man. Awesome. So I like to establish kind of like the next benchmark.
Mhm.
Or I want to like reconnect with you when you do like 100K a month with this
Yeah,
business. I think you should be there pretty soon. Because you already did the hard work, like acquiring all the skill sets. I think that's like just that initial like learning curve that you have already
mhm.
passed. Like I think that's the hardest thing that most people don't pass through. And so yeah, would love to connect with you when you do 100 G's a month, my man.
Yeah, thank you. I also, I kind of would always play this like analogy in my head that you know, if someone tells you to watch a show and they're like, "Oh, trust me, after season 5 it gets good." And so you have to go through all of the seasons just to and like the first season you're like, "This is terrible." Then the second season you're like, "Okay, it's a little better." Then the third season and it's kind of just like a rolling effect. But like you're not going to love something like instantly off the start, but as you continue to do it and do it, it just gets better and better and better.
For sure. And I think part of that is just like falling in love with the process of learning, because like if you just enjoy the process, if you enjoy learning and
Mhm.
becoming better, like I mean, then by definition you'll become good at it. And if you become good at it, then you'll get all of the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, just I think that's another thing for me, man. I love learning new stuff. I love finding a different way to do something. And just kind of, I remember going to BBA and one of the first things was like, let your ego go. You know, you
Mm,
shouldn't have an ego. You're like you should be open to learn, open to take criticism. And I think that's something that I kind of had to do, and it made the experience so much better.
for sure, my man. Thank you so much. Amazing insights. And looking forward to seeing you at 100K a month.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, everyone, for
Thank
watching.
you.